Hello everyone, this is Remleiz from 40k Theories, and welcome to this newest edition of Adeptus Podcastus. As always, I'm joined by Michael from Tactica Imperialis and EgoQueenAlexis. So firstly, how is everyone doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, not so bad, thank you.
Good. So, in the news this week, we have an absolute crap ton. Literally.
Oh, yes.
We got a whole...
But this one's like one or two things, Remleiz.
One or 200, maybe.
Yeah, we've actually, for the first time I think ever, sat down and planned the news segment. There's that much.
Yes.
We've actually planned it a little bit.
So jumping straight into things, the recent Las Vegas Open.
Yeah,
LVO.
Yes, shorthand LVO is probably how me and Alex at least will refer to it. We'll discuss the tournament itself very briefly, and then we'll move on to the reveals from LVO, because that transitions quite nicely into our next segment.
Yes.
So the tournament itself, the top five, as far as I found, and bear in mind I'm going off forums for this and no one has corroborated otherwise, was Eldari, Blood Angels, Blood Angels, Death Guard. Now, that could be any form of Eldar. That could be Ulthwé, Alatok, including Craftworld and Inari.
No, it isn't. It isn't, Michael. It's Inari, because they are broken.
Well, the person who made this post said that 20 of the top 100 were some flavor of Eldar. I'll put that differently.
A lot of people, what they're doing is they're mixing Inari with Alatok for the snipers / bubble units, deep strikers, things like that, where the Dark Reapers, which is the main focus of most of these armies, not all, but most of these armies, except for the one that did come really high up there, they do Dark Reaper spam, 6 squads, really powerful list, using the Soul Burst abilities to not only advance and move to objectives that they need to grab, but use them on the Dark Reapers to blow away their opponents.
I'm getting a sense of deja vu about this.
Yeah, as it sits right now, Inari Dark Reapers need a nerf.
But we've had the Craftworld's codex, and it got through its balance pass of the 2-week FAQ.
Yeah, it's going to go... give it 3 months, and it will definitely go... They will go up in points for chapter approved.
Actually, I would ask, are Dark Reapers broken without Inari, or is it Inari breaking them?
No, they're just really, 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 really powerful.
Okay, fair enough. I just wasn't sure if it was the Inari synergy that was breaking them.
If we get an Inari codex, they might actually fix some of the issues.
They can't nerf the units directly without an issue. Well, they can, but they then have to issue a patch to Craftworlds and stuff as well.
I mean, after all of these events and everything, and after people have seen what the Dark Reapers can actually do, a balance patch, especially with the GW design team being there, a balance patch is probably in the works.
Yes. The other army that was up there that threw me completely off was Blood Angels. One army was using Guard Allies and one army wasn't.
Now this I want to talk about because I'm pretty sure Michael doesn't actually watch my channel at all. I actually had a very in-depth conversation with Pablo from Frontline Gaming all about the LVO opening. You can check it out on my channel, insert plug here. Anyway, we went over the top 5 armies and everything. This guy, and I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Call him Bob.
But this guy, he brought a Puritan list of Blood Angels. And in it, he had arguably the worst unit in the Space Marine Codex, which is the Space Marine Intercessors.
That's the Primaris Infantry, right?
Yep. He had them, and we both had a good chuckle about that. And there was a bit of drama. If you want to know more about that, please check out my channel, because I don't think that I want to bring that up here.
Yeah, that's fair. I admit I haven't seen that particular discussion, but it is fair that I think the meta, if the meta is defined by Eldar again, that's we're lacking in 5th edition as well. Because that would be 4 editions straight. It's 3 editions straight, which sucks.
Eldar are pretty powerful.
And everyone thought, wasn't it? Didn't people think that when 8th edition dropped before the codices, it was just the indexes? Didn't everyone think that Eldar had just been whacked with the ban hammer, or like the massive nerf hammer?
The biggest thing was that their jet bikes are now terrible. And everybody was like, "Oh, my Sam Han army! Oh, my Sam Han army!" And then they actually looked at it and they were like, "Eldari, ooh." And even after that army took a huge nerf, it is still the best army in the game right now.
Yeah.
Like it's hands down the best army in the game right now.
Right, that's fair. Some of the highly represented armies in the top 100, if you're curious, would be Chaos of some flavor, which was represented with 25%.
They took 6%, sixth place, I believe.
Yeah, 6th place is what's listed here. We had 10 Guard armies, 5 Orc armies, 6 Blood Angel armies, 7 Space Marine Codex armies, 3 Sisters, 2 Space Wolves, 4 Tau, 3 Cult, 4 Grey Knights, 2 Dark Angels, 2 Cult Mech, 4 Tyranids, 2 Mixed Imperium, a Necron, and a Death Watch, making up the top 100.
Now, keep in mind, most of those Imperial armies are Imperial soup, with the primary being the focus of the army itself, and that's what they're listed under.
Yeah, because there's only 2 that use the Imperium keyword as their linchpin.
Mm-hmm. And these were the best 40k players in the world. This isn't like, oh, it's just a casual tournament. This is the best in the world.
Still, I will say, that's still quite as much as the Imperial armies will be a mix, that's still quite diverse for a top 100. I mean, yes, 45% of it is Chaos and Eldar, but the rest of
it was actually pretty nice and pretty cool to actually see Sisters of Battle so represented, especially now that GW is actually showing them a little bit of love. That patrol detachment sold out within 2 days, I think it was.
Yeah, we'll get onto a bit more GW sister nonsense a little later, I think.
Oh yeah, the joke about it, of course.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Anything else to add on the tournament itself before we move on?
It was amazing. I didn't go to it, but I will be at Adepticon, and I will try to participate in the tournament there. I'm going to be bringing... I can't bring my Sisters of Battle because it's too much third-party stuff, mostly because I'm trying to replace the metal. Replace them with the metal versions. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah,
but I will be participating in the tournament there, and I will be bringing probably Dark Angels.
Let's not give the game away too early. Come on.
If not that, I'm going to be bringing a Supreme Command detachment with everything now of Custodians.
Yes, we'll get to the Custodians in a moment, but before we do, let's discuss the other bit out of LVO, that being the new codices that are heading our way.
Yes, Xenos players can finally stop whinging, because we're getting Necrons, Tau Empire, and Drukhari next.
Now, as a Xenos player, I take slight offence at the word whinging.
Oh, come on, let's be honest. Every Xenos player was whinging. It's like, there's too many Imperium codices. Meh.
Of the 10 codices that got released, 6 of them were Imperial. I'm just going to point that out.
Remleiz, I think we need a repeat of that noise because I hear some whinging.
I'm not saying I'm whinging. I'm not complaining too hard. I'm just pointing out that statistically, that's what it was. There were 6 Imperial armies in that first 10, and I wasn't whinging because
how dare Games Workshop release the best-selling army over and over and over again.
I'm not complaining because my army didn't get done. That's not why I'm complaining. I'm complaining because it discourages diversity in what people were collecting if they were new players. That's what I was complaining about. Is that a fair point?
I don't know. Tournament scenes would tell you otherwise. Xenos are pretty popular.
But most of those are old school. Most of those will be old school players because, let's be fair, if you were a tournament player in 7th, you played Eldar. People...
I'm just more surprised at the fact that the Space Wolves Codex isn't out yet.
It's the only one.
No, no Death Watch.
Of the big ones, then.
Or Sisters.
Of the big Space Marines is what I mean.
Just saying, I want my codex women already.
Yes.
The joke, obviously, with Sisters of Silence and Sisters of Battle not getting a codex yet. But GW did announce that all of the codexes will be getting an update. These are just the first 3 in the row, which is the...
Did they give a timescale?
Yeah, it's this year.
That's not helpful, considering it's February.
Yeah, they just said this year.
I'll assume within the next few weeks, then.
That's not bad. I mean, like, if you think about the time it takes for an army to get a codex as a new edition comes out, some armies will go whole editions without a book. So 18 months to get the full roster done, that's still not bad. That's not bad.
And they're also adding armies to the fray, like the Adeptus Custodes, the Sisters of Silence, which arguably are not additions, but they were at the very tail end of 7th, and nobody played them in 7th.
Yeah, armies like Genestealer Cult and to some extent Harlequins would fall into that category too.
No, Genestealer Cult kind of destroyed the meta of last edition.
Oh yeah,
and not to mention the old Custodes and Sisters of Silence codexes were only available in the Talons of the Emperor box set.
Which they should have stayed as, the Talons of the Emperor, and I'm still gonna bitch about that.
Are you gonna bitch when they get their own standalone codex, though?
Yeah, I would love to pay $40 for 5 units.
They'll probably add more, though.
Oh no, they'll actually just split them up, give one a banner, and make one a captain.
For 5 units, or do you mean 5 models? Because if you're saying 5 models, I'll raise you the fact that I'm paying quite often £45 for 3 tower models if you want a battle suit, and it's not, no army is cheap. I'm just going to point that out.
Shaper, Fire Warriors, Pathfinders,
yes.
XV8s, XV88s, XV22s, XV94s, Huh? What was that?
XV8s cost £15 a model, XV88s cost £30 a model. Yeah, you just said $40 for 5.
No, $40 for a codex that only has 5 models in it.
Right, you're whinging about the book. That wasn't... Alright, I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Everyone's whinging today.
That book is terrible.
In positive news, though, the Necrons, Tau, and Drukhari are coming, and that is good both for the game, because more armies, and it's also fantastic because all these armies have a lot of lore questions to answer.
I'm just more surprised by the fact that the Tau Codex has you on the cover.
No, that's standard Violan colouring.
It's still your colour, looks like, initially from a glance.
At a glance, it does look like my character, yes, although the helmet... Is the helmet the same colour as well? Oh, God. Someone else seemed to make that joke. But, yes, they've changed official... the official Tau colour scheme from Tau, as I call it, to Viola. So, white armour, red markings. Which is just an interesting to note.
Indeed.
But yes, the lore for these 3 books, this is probably the 3 armies lore-wise I was most fussed about, because the Necrons have got the Silent King back in the galaxy. Is he going to appear in the story now? The Tau, obviously, the 4th sphere is gone and the 5th sphere is ongoing. What's going on with that? What's going on with Farsight? The Drukhari, how's Commorragh following its disjunction and the shenanigans with Ivrain? Who's left in Commorragh after everybody fucked off to follow Ivrain?
Funny story about that, just really quick. During the invasion of Commorragh by the demon horde and everything...
Yeah, the disjunction.
There is a chance that Yagatai Khan actually escaped.
If he was even in Commorragh in the first place.
Well, considering that they say that there is a warrior who they want to show to every generation because of how great he is.
What's your source?
Is in a 3rd edition Eldar Codex, or 7th edition actually too. They talk about the warrior in the pit.
I was going to say, it was 3rd edition, they pretty much retcon the entire Dark Eldar in 5th edition. But if it's a 7th thing, then okay, that's interesting. We'll see. I think it's a good way to put that. We'll see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are 3 books definitely that are needed for the lore, although I'm kind of surprised we haven't got Orcs yet. I'd have thought Orcs would have been before maybe Drukhari.
I'm going to assume it's because they're still trying to work out some balance issues with the Orcs.
I'm just sitting there like, the war boss is like, all right, we're 3rd in the line, right? Yeah, boss, we're 3rd in the line. Okay, so that means we got 1, 3, 7. Yeah, we're 3rd in the line.
Dearie me.
And speaking of other codices, by the time this comes out, the codex for the Thousand Suns should be available.
Indeed.
And speaking of other codices, Alexis, you did a review on the Custodian Codex, didn't you?
I wouldn't call it a review as much as a bitch fit.
Same thing. Same thing these days.
Yeah. After going over the codex, especially with higher end tournament players, I did notice one thing. I heavily underestimated the Dawn Eagle jet bikes. So this codex, 88 pages. 88 pages or 80 pages for the same price as the...
It's a very short
80 pages.
Codex, yes.
It does include some brand new lore, which is kind of cool. It shows an actual map of the Imperial Palace.
Which is definitely cool.
Yeah, listing all the key details from the Emperor's Legion books and the Carrion Throne books. They actually do explain all the different colors of armor and how they relate to each other. So I think that's pretty cool. And one of the biggest things in the lore right now is that they are after Cypher, who escaped from the Imperial Palace.
I mean, this was implied all the way back in Gathering Storm 3, but it's nice to see it.
It was, but it's kind of cool to see that Cypher can't hide from them. And they're using the Sisters of Silence to spearhead through everything that Cypher is trying to get around.
Then how did he get out?
They don't explain that, but they just said that the custodians are after them. He's Cypher.
I just found it interesting that the Gene Stealer cult on Terra has now been purged.
Well, yeah, I'm just imagining somebody wrote that as just like a side note, and they stuck it in like on a... Because they didn't stick it in on a sticky note. And like somebody who's competent, like ADB or one of the really good writers, was just like, yeah, no.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah, just get rid of that. How does 10,000 assassins not know about a Gene Stealer cult? Screw that.
Well, they clearly did, because they found it and destroyed it.
Yeah.
And they're not assassins.
Now.
No, the custodians are trained as assassins.
Yeah, but that's not their official role. Their official role is basically being, the sparkly, glorious boys.
Well, they're a legion of one, each one of them, and then
That's Garrow.
Well, yes, that is his book title, but they are meant to be a solo fighter. Each one of them participates in the blood games, and each one of them is a master of espionage, close quarters combat, long range combat. They're basically everything the Space Marines should be combined into one.
Now, there's two questions I have about the custodian lore. One, does it explain how they're made at all?
It does.
Yeah, it does. They're
okay.
And I'm going to get heat for this because I said this on my channel. They're made by magic.
That was implied back in Book 7 of the Horus Heresy, actually, but yes.
It's bioalchemy, officially.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was sort of implied in Book 7 of the Heresy that it was very much only the Emperor. The Emperor was always there. Therefore, it was implied that only the Emperor could do it. So I'm curious as to who does it now.
There's a couple of janitors. There's only 2 or 3 janitors in the entire galaxy who know how to do it.
That makes sense. And then question 2, who the hell is Trajan Valoris?
The Captain General of the Custodes.
I got that, but as in, who is he? When did he arise as Captain General? Who did he succeed? And such.
They do actually explain that there's multiple Captain Generals and there's multiple Shield Captains.
Well, didn't Trajan just take over after the last, Captain General died?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Oh, and also, Michael, Custodians retire.
Yep. They get a chance to retire.
Well, they are functionally immortal, so I suppose...
Well, yeah, they are immortal.
I say functionally as in they can't be killed by old age.
Yeah.
Because they can be killed. So that's why I say functionally immortal.
Although they do have a lot of... So essentially, you know how when you kill a Space Marine, there's a chance that they can go into their little cocoon state and survive so that they could be put into a dreadnought and keep fighting?
Yeah.
Apparently you could do that to a custodian a day or two after he's been killed.
Okay, so custodians take a long time to die. Fine.
Yeah, but they don't have any of the internal organs of a space marine.
They probably nicked that trait off the orcs, given the amount of other stuff the Emperor's pinched down the years. Because the orcs can do that to some extent.
Yep.
Yes,
other
that was
than
the thing.
that, just really quickly going over some of the changes in the codex, they took away the 5+ invo of the Land Raider. If you take a detachment of these guys with just these guys in it, almost everybody in it has a 4-up invo save.
Yep.
Shield captains on Dawn Eagle jet bikes are going to break the meta. They're 160 points. They have Hurricane Bolters. They have a really good close combat weapon. They benefit the Imperial armies, so they will be in an Imperial soup army. You won't really see this army solo, but you will see this army appear quite often. Other than that, the codex is pretty bog standard. The custodians on their own won't break meta. They won't really do too much, but with an allied detachment of Guard, Sisters, or Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence, or Space Marines, they'll be extremely good, especially if they ally themselves with Sisters of Battle because of the negation of psychic powers.
Yay.
Which is extremely good.
It was funny. I was in my GW in Grenoble this week, or was it last week, and we were talking about the Custodes, and we were just chatting back and forth, and they said about how they benefit the Imperial stuff so much. I just rolled my eyes. I just went, I said it in French, but I was like, oh, God, Imperial cheese, and everyone just agreed with me. It was just,
I wouldn't say Imperial cheese.
I know they're not as cheesy because obviously if they were, they'd be killing the entire meta and then not see everything we said at the beginning of the show. But I think just like the fact that I don't know, something about like having an army made up of 6 different codices at once. I don't know, something that just feels too 70 to me.
Michael, just for me to play Dark Angels, I need the Dark Angel Codex, I need the Codex Space Marines, I need the Index, I need... Yeah, you need 5 books to play this game regardless of what army you play.
Well, to play it at a high level, to play the game, you need 2. Maybe 3.
Yeah. Alright, to play a Codex, you need 3. Minimum. Because you need the Index along with it. Because Codexes don't include all the options.
Yes, you mentioned it. Yeah, that depends on whether you... Yes, that's fair. Yeah, it's 2 or 3 books to play, but it's when you start needing like 9 that it just gets like... What's the bloody point?
Oh, the bloody point is that it's really, really, really fun.
For you.
Oh god, yes it is.
Yes, but so that's... one last question about the Custodes, because this segues nicely into our next segment. What happened to Valdor? Is it mentioned?
Yeah, he died.
When?
At some point after the Horus Heresy.
So, in the 1,000 years of peace-ish between the heresy, when the Custodians...
There wasn't 1,000 years of peace. The Custodians have always been fighting.
Okay, so... I'll put that another way. In the 1,000 years or so between the Battle of Terror and the War of the Beast, Constantine Valdor died. Mm-hmm. We don't know when, we don't know where, we probably can guess it was in the...
I would assume during the Great Scouring.
But then the Custodians weren't leaving. They didn't leave. I thought they were on Terra permanently after the Emperor...
The Great Scouring also had them driving out traitor legions from the Sol system. So, considering it's the Sol system, he probably took some people there just to help drive them out.
In the last years of the Unification Wars, yada, 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 yada. Okay, that talks about him for a second. I'm looking through the book, so once I find it, I'll tell you.
Okay, and whilst you're searching for that, we may as well segue into what at this current moment is a leak, but will probably be an official reveal from the Horus Heresy / Necromunda Weekender of, well, Constantine Valdor.
With his huge, throbbing blade. Let's be honest, it's an
so eloquent.
I am going to have a proper giggle about that. Hang on.
Come on.
Okay,
looking at his model, the blade on his Guardian Spear is very oversized. It's like he's compensating for something.
Okay, come on. They have literal... Look at their forge-rolled jet bikes. It is no reason they had to make them look like that.
To be fair, though, most things about Valdor's model is just, like, all weirdly proportionate. The sword blade is massive. The shoulder lion? I can't quite tell. Is that masonry? I can't quite tell from the first one I'm looking at.
Might be an eagle.
Like that. The thing over his left shoulder looks massively out of proportion if it's anything that's actually on his shoulder and isn't a rock. The thing on his right shoulder, the massive wing thing, that's huge. I don't know, it's like there might be a bit of a proportioning issue with Valdor.
There it is. It is not recorded what became of Valdor after the Emperor's withdrawal to the Golden Throne, but there are those who believe that he serves the Emperor still.
Right. That's helpful.
So he is currently missing.
They pulled a Primark Ex Machina with a not Primark. Beautiful.
Well, he's pretty much a Primark.
I'm just going to say he retired.
Yeah, well, they priced him like a bloody Primark. It's going to be 60 quid.
Well, it's part of the character series, isn't it? And he's a very important and powerful character.
I think he's also the same price as Garrow.
I don't think Garrow was that much, because I think Magnus is 80.
Garrow was only 45 quid, wasn't he?
Yeah, because the Primark sort of sit around... Well, the Primark sort of sit at 70 to 85. No. That sort of region is where the Primark sit.
Because
Garrow's 45.
Because Lorgar was 60.
Yeah, and Horus was 70 odd, Magnus was 80.
Hey guys, I'm Logar. Sorry.
Low cost Logar.
Yeah, Logar is 60. Yeah.
Yeah, just a random observation that they've priced him like a Primark. They've plotted him out like a Primark. I can't remember his stats, but yeah.
The average price of the Primarks is £60. 70 being Lehman Russ, 65 being Horus, but the rest being at like 60.
And then there's Magnus, because I bought Magnus. I know he cost a bit more.
I know Codex cost quite a bit. That's probably because of his massive wingspan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magnus the dumbass is 80. I hate him.
I got that much. Like you've made that unbearably clear how much you dislike him.
Anyway, because it's the Horus Heresy Weekender, that might also mean we might actually get a look at Book 8.
Yes, that's Cygnus Prime and the Schism of Mars, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Which means we might get a teaser for a Sanguinius model.
Sanguinius is going to be the last Primark.
If it's Cygnus Prime, considering he was like, the main Primark focused of that battle...
I think we might get Sanguinius's rules, but I don't, because of the next thing I want to discuss, I don't think we're going to get his model reveal because we've already got a Primark reveal this week.
Yes, Lord Adorable himself is getting a model where he looks like Philip Schofield.
Still looks like President Clinton to me.
Nah, it's Philip Schofield, blatantly.
Well, whoever he looks like, Rogel Dawn is here, and...
Actually, he's over there.
No.
Behind that wall.
And to be honest, as Primarks go, he is very much 5 out of 10. It was okay. He's a fantastic model. I need to stress that. All the Primarks are amazing models. But as Primarks go, it's very middle of the road.
It's Lorgar tier in regards to sculpt. Lorgar I thought was a very boring model. It's just like, hey guys, I'm Lorgar. Me.
Yeah,
Gilliman now.
Lorgar has his issues. Lorgar and Gilliman is the other one who's quite static.
Gilliman looks amazing in person, though.
I thought Gilliman actually had a nice pose, and especially in conjunction with a scenic base, it looks really
good. On the scenic base it looks great, but I can imagine, off the scenic base it looks kind of cool, but
and considering Lorgar's scenic base is whatever.
And Dawn's is also quite whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do to change it. I honestly don't.
I think out of all the Primarchs so far, my favourite sculpt is probably still Horus's, especially on that broken Imperial Eagle.
Yeah, it was either I'm biased toward Magnus because it's my Legion, but Magnus and Horus are up there as my two favourite sculpts.
So I'm biased towards Comrade Kurz, but still with Horus.
I have to go with Angron. Angron having the coolest sculpt. I don't like Angron, but I think he looks cool.
So you don't like Angron, yeah. You love him.
Nah, not really.
He's your new boo.
No, that's Fulgrim.
I mean, to be fair, though, the entire Primarch range is stunning. Like, take nothing away. Like, for all the critique we might level at them, those sculpts are still intricate and stunning to look at. And take nothing away. It's a case of like we're comparing the best of the best here in terms of what the sculptors can do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still maintain that the Forge World Guilliman model is a far superior sculpt to the plastic Guilliman model, who has the face of Joffrey Baratheon.
No one built him with the face. You always put the helmet on him.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even the armored model, it just looks... The plastic one just looks ugly to me.
I disagree. I don't think it's ugly. It's not my favourite model in the world, and we'll get to what people's favourite miniature of the year was in a minute. But I don't know. I don't know if I prefer old Guilliman to new. I think old Guilliman on his scenic base is better, but on his gaming base, I think I'd take new Guilliman.
Every time that I play Guilliman, I just go, hey, look, Guilliman's here. I'm going to put him away. Here's Nathaniel Garrow. I'm going to use this guy for Guilliman. Why? Because the son's of Garrow, and Garrow's here.
I just had a thought. Does anyone know if Forge World Guilliman comes with an option to give him the Hand of Dominion?
I don't believe so. I couldn't confirm. Maybe the comments can let us know, but I don't believe so.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I've only ever seen it.
Yeah, he has the hand. Well, he has a power fist.
That's the Hand of Dominion.
Yeah.
It's because it's grabbing that Gladius, isn't it? So it's like I didn't think it was a power fist because it's holding onto the knife at his belt, while the other hand had a
it's
sword.
holding onto the scabbard.
Yeah, which I wouldn't think a power. Normally, you do with a power fist.
Yeah, whatever. It's a Primarch.
I will say actually, with regards to Guilliman, old and new, as a character, let's put models aside. I actually quite like New Guilliman as a character.
Yeah, I do too. I like the fact that he's basically now in this whole fish out of water type scenario. Like, this is so different to the 30th millennium.
The way he's portrayed in Dark Imperium is one thing, but I've just finished Devastation of Baal, finally. And by the way, everybody should read that book. It's bloody stupendously good. But Guilliman comes across really well. He puts Dante over very well, and he's just likable. And I know that's not going to be popular, but he's likable. I
thought he was likable in the Emperor's Legion.
True, yeah, but that's New Guilliman too. Old Guilliman was. I'm not going to say Old Guilliman was a dick, but he was not someone you'd get behind. Like
he had a bit of a stick up his ass.
Yeah, like in Unremembered Empire, he wasn't the antagonist, but it was like he was almost the antagonist of Imperium Secundus because everyone was like, oh god, he's empire building and so on and so forth.
No, I like old Guilliman because he had to stick up his ass. I like new Guilliman because he's after that booty.
Oh god.
For God's sake.
He is after that booty. I mean, it's Dobity Guilliman.
Stop it.
I'm not sorry.
I didn't say to be sorry, I said to stop.
No.
Anyway, and let's get to the most important bit of news this week. Fucking squats.
Who cares about them?
No joke. Necromunda is getting a squat bounty hunter, so the squat's about, it's the first new squat model in what, 27 years?
Unless you count the special edition squat model, but yeah.
And this is the thing we were referring to earlier with the sisters, because in the reveal trailer, they show 3 clocks on their wall. One of them is the squats, the other is the plastic Thunderhawk, and the plastic sisters clock is at 5 minutes to midnight because GW is a bloody troll.
Yeah, they are. It's one.
I love that they are.
Oh yeah, I love new GW.
I just love their social media team, because seeing the comments on the Facebook post, like, someone's saying, like, oh, but I wanted Demiurge minis, and they reply saying, yeah, but the Demiurge are minis.
Yeah, I know, that was so great.
Yeah, and this isn't 40k, but when the Daughters of Cain were revealed, and by the way, dear God, those models, there were a lot of people questioning, like, hang on, why are these guys ordered? Like, well, they don't like chaos, they don't like being dead, and they don't like hanging around with snotlings, therefore they're ordered. It was just like, oh, GW.
My favourite thing in regards to that, the squat trailer, was someone complaining. It was like, oh, squat, why can't we just get some more loyalist Primark models? And they replied saying, well, we got 2 clocks for them, but they're stuck at 2 and 11.
Ha!
But
That's good.
But the funny thing was, the guy said, why the specific times?
Oh, no,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, someone asked why those times.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
come on, I'm sorry.
Oh, but in quick news, really quickly, Battlefleet Gothic 2
Yes.
Yep.
takes place starts in Gathering Storm and goes all the way to the Indominus Crusade.
Yep.
And pretty much
as somebody
everything
who
is in the game. Every race, essentially, is in the game.
As somebody who is actively still playing Battlefleet Gothic and keeping it active on my channel because it's my favorite 40k game, I am super hyped about this, and I'm going to buy it the second it comes out. I hope the developers are listening to this, because I play that game way too much. I think I have close to 400 or 500 hours in it.
Jesus.
Between this account and my other accounts.
Jesus.
I also call it Rammy Ship Gothic.
Rammy Ship Gothic, why?
Because you play orcs and ram shit.
That is not the case at all. Orcs are terrible at ramming. The Imperial, just the normal Imperial Navy, teleport, ram. Teleport, ram.
Hang on. So you're saying the orcs, the race that has ships purpose-built for ramming shit, is shit at ramming?
Because they can't maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the point?
Quite.
Where the Imperial ships, the Imperial Navy, the way you're supposed to run them, Nova cannons everywhere, your opponent never gets close to you. I see that as cowardice. You want to play a garbage tier army like that, play Tau. They're actually one of the best armies in the game, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, my main strategy, torpedo, 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 ram. I'm going to get up to you, I'm going to get up as quick as I can, I'm going to teleport right behind you, and I'm going to ram you, stop my engines, ram you again, and I'm going to do that with a small little ship and blow up your biggest ship.
So when you teleport behind them, do you end up shouting, "Oh my way more Shinderu"?
I know I should get that reference.
I vaguely get that reference, but...
There's going to be people in the comments who get it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And 2 little bits of news to conclude. Eisenhorn has a model.
Yes,
Yeah, and his head is gigantic.
It's coming out in conjunction with his new novel, The Magos, on the 24th of February.
Which is also the some sort of Black Library celebration event on the same day. And finally, the miniature of the year, as voted for by us, the viewers,
is Sassy Nurgling.
No.
It should have been Sassy Nurglings. Wait, I think the Sassy Nurglings are on his base.
Yes, the winner is Mortarion.
Yeah, who cares about that? Sassy Nurglings.
I'm just going to make the...
Sorry, carry on, Michael.
I'm going to say I completely disagree. I'm not... I like Mortarion, but he's not my favourite. That's all I'll say.
You got to be head.
I just find it funny that Sassy Nurgling's official name is Sassy Nurgling.
That's amazing.
Games Workshop released a little thing through their community page with all the different types of Nurglings, there's 24 of them. And number 1 is officially Sassy Nurgling. So Sassy Nurgling is his name.
That is amazing.
He should have won Miniature of the Year.
I wouldn't say that one was my favorite. I have a favorite sculpt, and it is beautiful. It is giant, and it is glorious looking. I just love staring at it.
Too easy.
My Imperial Knights. I love them.
I thought you were going to say about Rotigus.
Oh? No.
The
new Great Unclaimed one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we didn't even mention that while we were at LVO, there were also 2 more reveals: a new Imperial a baby Imperial Knight, and a Necron Cryptek. Just to the point.
Alright, I'm just going to point this out. It's actually not a new model. It's something from Epic that they're just reprinting. They're making an actual model for it.
So it's still a new model, technically.
It is a new model, but it's based on one of their older models, so it's kind of cool to see that to Epic and making those models into actual armies.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few more mentions of the top 10 here. Core was in the top 10. Celestine was in the top 10. So was the Lord of Change, Cypher.
Of course, Celestine was in the top 10. She's my girl.
Lord of Change, Cypher, Slimarbo, the Arcanaut, which is the big AOS dwarf gunship. But Mortarion won by 25% more votes than the next one. So he won by a mile.
Why, though?
Sassy Nurgling. Sassy Nurglings.
No, Sassy Nurgling is on a... it's part of another Death Guard model. It's not Mortarion.
Whatever. Yeah. You could put all 25 on Mortarion's base. Just think about it for a second.
I mean, there is actually a Mortarion Nurgling on Mortarion's base. I'm going to point that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won by a mile, and I don't agree.
And his model is beautiful.
It's a good model. I don't disagree, but
I prefer the new Lord of Change to it, though. The Lord of Change.
Yeah, looking at that top 10, Celestine,
Celestine is beautiful.
Celestine is just more elegant and just, I think, better designed. The Arcanaut is a really cool model. Cypher, alright, fine. Slimarbo, alright, fine. That's got fan backing. Call is intricate AF. Gilliman is, well, we had that debate.
Did you just say AF?
I did it last time as well, and you
I
called me
know,
out
and
for it
it's
last
still
time.
funny.
God's sake. But yeah, like I say, not the pick I would have made, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your miniature of the year, Mortarion.
I'm very disappointed in all of you. You should have voted for Sassy Nurgling.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Stores of 40K were announced for the North American continent. It was a lot of people who donated a lot of money, the guys from Nova especially. I want to congratulate each and every single one of them. They are amazing and very important people in this community. I hope they do this overseas as well, and I can't wait to see and read about the winners over there.
Yeah, the Europe ones are going to be out pretty soon, I believe.
Speaking of what's happening in America, Warhammer Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, so you colonials will finally get a chance to experience what it's like to have something akin to Bugman's Bar, what we have here in Britain.
The problem is I don't think they can serve Bugman's if it's a cafe.
No. Which means ours is superior.
Game clubs here.
Yes, we can get Bugman's, draft ale.
Okay.
Can you?
All right, let's call it. What is going to be the worst pun for a name? Call it. They're going to come up with punny titles for all the drinks. You just know they are.
I got nothing.
No, actually, me neither. I just thought they had a good pun.
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody in the comment section just start writing down drink names.
Yeah,
a Fragguccino.
That would be pretty funny. No, but there was this one YouTuber who was like ripping on it like crazy, and I couldn't help but feel like he was even ripping on the art that they were using, and he's like, this looks like a bunch of hipster shit, and I'm just sitting there like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? It's about the community.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly wearing flannel shirts and sporting beards and, thick rimmed glasses. I wouldn't exactly call it hipster.
Yeah.
it's quirky, but this is 40k and this is Warhammer. It's going to be quirky. It's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
We do quirky and we do grimdark, and they can't exactly do grimdark in something that's going to be in a public place. So, whatever. Should be interesting, and I hope it goes down well, because if it does, maybe it'll branch out from America.
Yeah, but we still got Bugman's, though. That's all that matters.
Yes, we have one bar in one place.
And they're going to have one cafe in one place.
Actually, I think it's 2.
I thought it was a bit of a bigger chain than that, my bad.
No, isn't it? I thought it was like you got one, but they're still debating whether to choose either Memphis or Orlando. Memphis
is more central.
And because Games Workshop American branch is based in Memphis, and Orlando for the tourism side of things.
I would actually go with one of the big cities for the bigger tournaments. Like, I would go for where Adepticon is. I'd go for where LVO is. I'd go for that third tournament that I can't remember what it is.
There's no way they get a shot in Las Vegas. No way. They wouldn't even get
yes,
close.
there is.
It'd be way too Las Vegas would be way too expensive. I mean, let's be honest. If the WWE could afford to keep, a thing open over in Las Vegas, what chances Games Workshop got?
Yeah, but nobody likes wrestling.
More people in America like wrestling than they do Warhammer, and that's just a fact.
Likely.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, that is.
So
I think more people like wrestling than they like the politics that we have. Anyway.
Yeah. So 45 plus minutes later, that's your news. God, there was a lot going on this past couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, there really was.
I'm just still happy that we got squats coming back.
To be fair, though, there's a lot to be excited. And to be fair, we haven't even covered all the news of the past 2 weeks. Obviously, if you're an Age of Sigmar player, you've got Malign Portents, the Daughters of Cain Reveal. I've got a video that come out on Monday that just gone about that. So if you care about
plug
anyway.
Here.
Yes, insert my plug here. But yes, this is a very busy period, which is nice. It's nice that January is actually giving us something to talk about, because goddamn January.
That's actually, I do want to point this out as well. Games Workshop has been picking the time schedule for their releases extremely well. They're picking it around peak months of gaming interest without competing with major gaming companies.
Yeah, so October was crazy busy as well. October, November is a really busy time for most games.
Yeah, and they kind of avoided that month.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas January is dead for most people, and they completely went off with Custodes, Thousand Suns, Malign Portent, LVO. January was crazy.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, this is just a quick little thingamajig. I will be at Adepticon, so if you guys do want to come down,
yeah, twice.
I'm gonna try to be playing up against some of the guys from Frontline Gaming. I'm just excited about that. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's fair. And I'm sure nearer the time there'll be even more shameless plugging, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, if you haven't realised, Alexis is going to be at Adepticon, and sorry.
All right, knock it off.
So how about that Adepticon?
I still sounds like a Transformers name.
To be fair, Adepticon's worth looking forward to as a general way, because that's probably when we'll get the next set of test rules, if not before, or they'll be used at Adepticon. So we can look as the time approaches Adepticon to see what they're going to change, because that'll be the next patch.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of important things and people at Adepticon, like myself. I'm sorry, I'm done. Michael, say something stupid.
That's no, just no.
Michael, you should have literally
just
said something stupid.
Actually, I might as well just address it, because there was a lot of people asking on the last podcast. Yes, the artwork changed that we use for the podcast.
Did the artwork change?
Yeah, that we use for the podcast. The character.
I did not know that.
Then you really weren't paying attention, were you?
Then you clearly can't tell when I'm being sarcastic.
You deadpan everything.
I know, it's a talent. It's a British talent.
Yes, I'm aware, because I'm quite good at it myself. But
this is why we get into fights. I don't get it. I think you're dead serious, and I get upset.
Yes, but the artwork has changed, and for those wondering as to what's going on with it, that is the artwork for my 40k Stories avatar, who you can get to know a bit about. I did a video on his character a long time ago at this point, like a year ago, and he'll be making an appearance somewhere, sometime.
I'm pretty sure we can tell them where he's going to make an appearance.
Yeah, but I don't know when, so I'm not going to try and put anybody idea in people's heads.
Crickets chirping.
Do I say it? I'm not sure if that's a cue for me to say it, because you usually do things like this where you use my impulses to sprout horrible shit, and then you're like, well, actually, Alexis, I
was actually going to say anything. I was just going to leave it at that and move on, but if you really want to just say something impulsive, I'm not going to stop you.
Well, actually, Michael... It's going to be in the Quest of Knowledge series, the series on Remleiz's channel. The artwork is done up by Sleepy, and it's amazing.
Quest for knowledge, not Quest of.
What did
knowledge.
I say?
You said Quest
Oh,
of.
Quest of Knowledge. Whatever, same thing. You're dealing with a demon.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, our alternate personas lead quite busy lives.
Yes.
I'm also working on a side story for mine that I plan to do in the future, a little webcomic for her.
Yeah, I never quite know how much to do with my character because, on the one hand, I quite like playing the character and like picking it up in my lore videos. At the same time, the people who come to my channel and don't know what the hell's going on will be completely confused if I start acting as this character that they've never heard of before and don't get it. So I'm kind of I don't know how far to go with it.
Alexis, will your side story focus on your relationship with Magnus?
I fucking hate you. I hate you so much. You shut your face.
Oh, that joke.
Hello, honey, I'm home. I'm back from work, I am. It's the worst Australian accent you ever heard, but I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna stop.
Throw another tube of lager on the Barbie, Fair Dinkum, Didgeridoo, Foster's, Andy. I don't know. Apologies to all the Australian fans.
I hate you so much.
I've now got this mental image of Magnus then saying like, "Hello, Alexis."
I hate you. Don't say that too loudly. Somebody is going to draw it, and then I'm going to have to deal with horrible fan art again.
Oh dear.
Last time, no joke. Last time
Can I throw my
Remleiz did
shrimp
this.
on your Barbie?
Last time Remleiz did this, I had to deal with like 40, 50 pictures of this kind of crap.
Oh, is
And
this
you
the whole
wouldn't
Tau Lexus thing?
No, that's not even a
Alan
thing.
Lexus, that's it.
That's not even a thing.
It was from the Twitter pictures.
These people have I've been called the straight guy and just been completely like the straight down the middle, Puritan, boring guy on this podcast. You wonder why I don't get involved in your two shit because it never ends well. It's just like
I hate you. I hate you guys. That's not true,
what
but
did
I'm
I do?
especially you, Michael.
What did I do?
How dare you be a Xenos?
Look, just be thankful that you're not Boy with all his quote-unquote fan art.
Okay, all of that comes from Sexual Yeti. Let's not.
No, not all of it. Not all of it. Let's be fair.
Okay, the good art of it.
Let's be fair to Yeti. It doesn't all come from him.
I love Sexual Yeti, by the way. He's an amazing person. Really good artist.
Really good source of conversation as well. Had some interesting conversations with him in live stream chats.
And speaking of chat, shall we move on to the questions?
Yes. This is something that we can move on to where it doesn't talk about...
Magnus the Red putting his shrimp on your Barbie.
Remleiz?
I'm going back to the warp.
I'll stop now for the next 5 minutes.
Are the custodians closer to actual humans than space marines, or even to the image of the Emperor wished for humanity? They are actually closer to humans than space marines are.
Yeah, we established this earlier with the whole bioalchemy thing.
Yeah, they're less genetically modified. They're more like a natural... Well, I say natural evolution. That's the wrong word, but you get what I mean.
It's not an entirely unnatural process. If you go by it being a flesh change from the Dark Heresy books, it is taking everything that is there and messing with it.
Yeah, the custodians are a potential of what humans could become. The Primarchs and the Space Marines are clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, they were meant to kill each other. That's
Actually, here's a question. Obviously, physically, the custodians are more human than the Space Marines. What about mentally?
Oh, God, yes. The custodians are way more closer to humans than the custodians are. Custodians, well, I said that backwards. The custodians are closer to humans in that regard, too, because the Space Marines, all those chemicals pumping through them and everything really takes away any type of personality that most of the Space Marines have. Now, this, of course, they are all super intelligent, and they do and can have full conversations, but for the most part, they are just soldiers. They are just a weapon. Like in the one book where they talk about how Space Marines have no sex drive. They're like, if I still had a sex drive, I'd probably be attracted to this person. Yet you read the Emperor's Children book, they're literally having rape parties.
I just find it funny that Space Marines aren't sexually attracted to anyone. Here's Ragnar Blackmane. He's sexually attracted to this Inquisitor.
Gotta have an exception to the rule.
It might just be that particular legion. Or a chapter. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Because when I always think of the custodians, I mean, obviously I have nothing to back this up because I've not really read much about them. I sort of picture them as almost like just silent one-man murder machines. I don't think of them with any humanity. And maybe that's just my warped perception. But that's how...
Oh, wait, I get to actually do lore for a second. Holy crap, this is amazing. The custodians themselves, they are all readers, artists, artisans. They've mastered like thousands of different types of art, and it's actually kind of cool when, especially in the one book where the sororitas, the Null Maiden is talking to the custodian, and the custodian's actually like having a full conversation with her, and she's just like, aren't you supposed to just be a tool? Like, isn't that what your entire purpose is? And he's just like, why would we just be that? Why aren't we just free thinkers? And it's quite amazing to actually see the custodians having like individual thought, individual conversations, and not being they are a one-man murder machine.
Wasn't the custodian talking about also the one who had a massive collection of books in his bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And he actually trusted the Null Maiden and went out of his way to help her. So it's kind of cool to see the custodians actually being human. Like, there's really no other way of putting it. They had emotions, they had a drive, they had ambitions, but they were fiercely loyal to the Imperium and the Emperor himself.
Yep. All right. Next question.
I do know lore for those people who say, oh, it's two lore experts and a tournament player. I know lore too, but...
You probably know as much as I do. Like, all the lore I know is that I learn it as I go. I barely know shit.
Where I pretty much buy every single audiobook that exists and listen to it at work the same day. Okay, this one's a bit silly, but I kind of like it. If Doom Rider was based on Ghost Rider, he sort of was, is Lucius based on Deadpool? No. Lucius the Eternal would be more based on Carnage, or somebody similar to that. I don't see Lucius. I don't associate, again, this might just be perception, but I don't associate Lucius with humor and the fourth wall.
Unless you watch TTS.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But the thing is, TTS is almost designed to break the fourth wall.
It is. It is. And Alpha is an amazing, well, the whole team is just amazing writers, and it's really funny, and I love
Actually,
it.
speaking of breaking the fourth wall, it's not really a fourth wall break, but at the end of Devastation of Baal, don't worry, there's no real spoilers here. Dante talks to Sicarius, or the Blood Angels talk to Sicarius because
I thought that's Sicarius.
And Sicarius sort of he comes across like a complete dumbass, and just like, Sicarius, are you an idiot? And just tell us where to go and whatever. And Sicarius is just like, that way. Just like, oh yes,
I,
somebody
Catus Sicarius, will tell you which way to go, because I, Catus Sicarius, am the greatest swordsman of them all. Woo!
It was more like,
you got to do the voice right, Remleiz.
Yes, but I can't go that high pitched.
Oh, how is that? See, I can't do Cockney. You can't do Catus Sicarius.
Bear in mind that the register that you have to go to it's quite high. It's quite a high register.
Catus Sicarius. And you got to do that kind of voice. It is amazing.
It's a pitch
I love
that
it.
only dogs can hear.
Yeah, pretty much. So the Space Wolves can hear him.
Oh yeah, I just had this now mental image because we know Space Wolves have canine DNA in their gene seed. It's been established in Deliverance Lost, and custodians are made from alchemy. Emperor.
Ha!
I'm lost.
It's a
Don't hurt Daddy.
I'm still lost.
it's a reference to Full Metal Alchemist
Right. Okay.
with the little girl and the dog.
The fusion sandwich.
Yes, the amount of shit I get for putting memes of that in the Discord chat is unreal.
It is so funny. Also, that wasn't even the saddest moment of Full Metal Alchemist. May Hughes' death was.
Nah, that wasn't sad.
Yes, it was. You got
Anyway.
to see Roy Mustang cry.
You know, fuck
That
that.
was
What's the next question?
But you can't just say fuck that. Full Metal Alchemist is amazing.
I can't
Anyway.
say fuck that, and I just did. Deal with it.
Oh. See, this is why no one likes the Inquisition.
Also, did you see the double finger click?
Yeah, I did.
How do you see a double finger click?
Look, I am in the warp. Like, demonic energy, insert the warp did it here.
Only when
I
we insert
see.
the hashtag hive ship sex, which we haven't done for a while.
Then
We haven't done it for a while.
I can hear
It's-
colors.
It's due a comeback. And are you high if you can hear color? Right.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Question: Would Dark Mechanicum start producing demon servitors? Would the Dark Mechanicum start producing demon servitors, cyber demons? Oh, in the RP, and then he goes into an explanation. Yes, demon servitors are a thing.
makes total sense.
I mean, you possess a demon, gets bound to a servitor, becomes a second-born, and then is still a servitor, and is enslaved to a warpsmith.
Did the guy asking the question not mean can he just take a bloodletter and then turn that into a servitor without binding it into a servitor to begin with?
Oh, wait, he has another question in there. Could the Dark Mechanicos create implants that let demons move beyond areas supported by Warp Rift? Actually,
That's what possession is. That's kind of why demons possess individuals, is so that they can stay in reality for a bit longer.
Yep. Well, Nurgle demons are really good for that because they have organic parts.
Well, all demons, when they transmute themselves into the material realm, have to obey the laws of physics to a certain degree, so they all have biological
A very
components.
loose degree, but
I mean, you can
demons
still
have
shoot
blood and venom and stuff like that, so...
You can shoot a demon in the heart and kill it if you can locate its heart.
Yeah.
Question: Have you guys thought about merchandise? Yes, I have, and I am actually working on this. I just wanted to bring that up. I am working on this. I'm going to be getting in touch with a few artists. I'm going to be paying them for their art. I'm going to try to do posters, and I'm going to be hopefully talking to Remleiz and Michael about this in the future.
I was going to say, this is completely out of nowhere.
You just got RKO'd.
Damn it.
That's still a thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Randy Orton's still around,
Question.
so yeah, RKOs are still a thing.
I'll talk to you guys more about this later on, okay? Once I actually have the plans and everything for it fully established.
Yes, please do.
Questions. We have 4 of them. I know that on VR,
Anvar.
I think you spelled it wrong.
Anvar, Ethereal Supreme, now dead. Anyway, moving on.
Supervised the Tauros campaign, but what are the duties of the Anla and Anui?
Oh, Anvra. Oh, sorry. Anvra was the leader of the Taros campaign.
Okay.
Well, Anvra, I was confused by this because Anvra is actually a rank amongst the Ethereal cast because the tower ranking system goes La, We, Vra, L, and O. And it's spelt and denoted exactly the same way as Shasvra, which is sort of the mid-rank for Tau Fire Warriors. So if there was an Anvra on the planet leading the Taros campaign, as is implied, unless that person was actually called like Anvray and had an actual rank above being Anvra, then any Ethereals below them will be advisors or deployed to remote places to try and get information across if there's only one Ethereal on planet that's a bit risky, or as a place to sort of step in and take command of the Tau if Anvra was slain, like he actually was. So, yeah, I was a bit confused by that.
You answered the second question as well. I do like the Tau cast system, and it is kind of cool to see that the Ethereals aren't just like how they were originally portrayed, where it was them sitting in a chair telling people what to do. The Ethereals will actually go into battle. The Ethereals, depending on their rank, of course, and they can work their ways up the ranks and everything.
Yeah, the loose translation of how they're seen, I think Anvra is sort of equivalent to a prince in human. I'm not sure on that. It's either Alnel or Anvra as prince. I forget which.
How many Ethereals are there compared to other castes?
Not many. I mean, if you take the War of Dark Revelations, which is the war between the Homunculus Covens and the Tau, Urian Rakarth asked for 77 of each caste and 7 Ethereals. Now, I'm not saying that he got his maths spot on and that there is 1 Ethereal for every 11 Tau. That seems extremely high.
Excessive?
Yeah, that seems like a lot. So I would suggest that more like it's probably 1 per 1,000, 1 per 100,000. They're a tiny cast by comparison.
Okay. Do the Tau expansion fleets carry breeding populations of Ethereals?
That I don't know, but there'll be an Ethereal who accompanies every expedition. There were 3 on Farsight's expedition that went to Hell, for example. As for whether they'll be breeding a populace, they might send a male and female Ethereal, maybe. But I don't know if they'd send it with the express purpose of doing that, because the general way the Tau operate is they conquer, then they colonize. So it will depend on the scale of the expedition, how far it's going, and how long it would take for reinforcements to arrive. If it's just to the next system over, they'd probably send more Ethereals or a breeding populace. If they were going like the Farsight expedition, they had no reinforcements and were never going to get any, so they might not have brought anyone not deemed necessary for the arse-kicking segment.
Fair enough. With the Emperor's goal to improve humanity itself, Master of Mankind won't go into much detail, and his never-ending need of psychers, could he actually recruit Fabius Bile? Bile would play a big part in the fate of the universe, as stated in his own book, and his own goals are basically the same as the Emperor's. Actually, they really are. So he could probably be convinced.
But that depends if Bile wants to do it, because, let's be honest, the Harlequins wanted Bile to become the new leader of the Emperor's Children Legion, and then he's like, why do you want me to do this? No, fuck you, I'm not going to do it, piss off. Essentially. And then that pissed off the Harlequins, and they ended up hunting him down, and then he gave them a whole bunch of them to Trazen the Infinite.
Yeah, and then Biles also worked with the homunculi and then had his ass kicked by them for talking about what they taught him. So somehow, I don't know, I feel like Bile is the most self-serving.
He's a complete wild card. He's a wild card.
Yep. Here's a question I can answer. How do people traverse the webway? It's literally a subsector of space. You have to fly a ship through it.
No, you don't. Oldurf had Oldurf describes that when Vulcan, before he was reunited with the Emperor, he actually discovered a webway gate, which Drukhari were coming from. No, let me finish. They were coming through into the web from the webway itself. So Vulcan took a whole bunch of tribesmen and they went through this gate. They literally just walked through the webway.
So it might be different based on each different webway, because in the book Black Legion and in the book Black Legion, they actually have to fly through it with a big giant spaceship.
Well, in Master of Mankind, it's the war within the webway. That wasn't ship to ship. That was foot based.
Yeah.
So it might be that some sectors of the webway are
too unstable.
Yeah, maybe. That need a spaceship to traverse, and they would have their own gravitational fields in that case, especially if you're walking. Oh wait, no, because they had maglock boots when they were in Master of Mankind.
But not when Vulcan was still a blacksmith.
Yeah, that's true.
Funny enough, that was also when Vulcan actually ended up pretty much going all the way to the outskirts of Camorra, and then he and his men ended up encountering the Head Taker. You know, the leader of the Mandrakes.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, that's him, yeah. And he nearly killed Vulcan. Twice.
Well, I'm gonna say that it's kind of like a subsector of space, so it really depends on where you are in the webway.
It will definitely vary because the webway is kind of fucked in some places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That much is a given.
Would it be possible to reintroduce the old ones? Or some small resurgence of old one factions back into the universe, more like cyborg lizard men or something.
They're extinct.
Unless the surviving Slan somehow stop being so primitive and gain access to all their ancient technologies, then no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is 40k, so there is always that room of maybe.
It all depends on what the old ones even are, because there's so much contradictory shit, because they're either Slan, or they're Snotlings, or they're fully fledged gods.
Yeah.
The easiest way to say it is they're god frogs.
They're also Snotlings.
Yeah. Aside from gene stealers and the greater good, how often do Xenos corruption an actual legitimate thing beyond the Imperium propaganda? Quite a lot. In fact, what's his name? What's the orc with the plasma cannon?
Nazdrag.
Nazdrag actually enslaves lots of humans and makes them work for him and even rewards them. Xenos corruption is kind of a thing. It is a massive thing with smaller groups of Xenos, like Crud or the other Xenos.
The Drukhari
Xenos
Raiders.
Creatures. You would see this a lot with in Rogue Trader games, the RP games especially.
Let's not forget the Drukhari, constantly, the ones who end up making deals with planetary governors to work for them, because let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Some unscrupulous ones do work with the Drukhari in order to get rid of certain rivals, make sure they have an accident or two.
Or just flat out murder them.
Yes, that was what I was implying.
No, just walk up to him and gun him in the face. Got him.
He had an accident. What happened to him? He walked into a Drukhari splinter bullet.
Yeah, this guy, man, there has been 47 shots. It was the worst case of suicide we've ever seen.
Amazing for a man who didn't have any hands.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Question for Remleiz. With the success of your Xenology series, are you planning to do a Demonology series?
Maybe in the future. Nothing's planned, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Okay, fair enough. Question for Michael. If a Primarch does become Renegade, Will you do? Oh, goddamn! Will you do Alexis's intro?
That's such a meme that it's almost better I don't. Honestly, at this point, it's such a running joke that I'm getting told to do it for 15. That someone said you should do that for 15,000 subscribers. It's that much of a meme at this point.
Oh my god!
So
You actually should. You should.
no.
It would be funny.
What about for April Fool's Day?
No.
All right. While Astartes are not biologically immortal, do they benefit by rejuvenation? Fucking accent.
Rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation treatments. I know the salamanders survive many millennia, but by membrane and becoming withered. But it stands to reason that he did not have access to such treatment. Rejuvenative treatment in the stories and in the RP games, it does help, but it cannot hide the permanent effects of aging. For that, you might want to go into stasis.
I feel sorry for Barnabas Dantioch, who got aged from a couple of 100 years to, oh, guess what, you're 3,000 now. Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, well, maybe that explains why Dantioch fell so out of favour then.
Well, yeah, he kind of fucked up with the whole Hrud invasion, or Hrud migration, rather. Percy says, you have to hold this world, and then Dantioch realizes he's got 3 men left. Everyone else has aged to death, and he's like, fuck this, it's lost, I'm getting out of here. There's only 3 of us left.
Yeah.
Question for Alexis. If Eldar wanted to join Slaanesh, would Slaanesh let them or just kill them? Croneworlders have joined Slaanesh. Renegade Eldar have joined Slaanesh. Some Dark Eldar have joined Slaanesh.
Yeah.
Slaanesh just devours their souls after they die.
Yeah, because there was an alliance of Dark Eldar and Slaanesh on a world involving the Soul Triggers.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it funny that in one of the C.S. Goto novels, Lilith Hesperax and Eldrad Ulthran are also Slaanesh worshippers. Somehow.
Oh, they're Yannari now, both of them.
Yeah. But and also, don't forget, according to Goto, the entire Seer Council of Ulthwé are Slaanesh worshippers. Because fucking Goto.
Alright, look. Goto is bad fan fiction of 40k.
That's putting it mildly. That's like saying Hitler was a little bit of a naughty boy.
Holy shit, I would not make that comparison, but yeah.
Yeah.
Has Logar been praying in a chapel for 10,000 years? Or is it that a dummy with a recording constantly repeating, and he really is in the Slaaneshi bar drinking and being miserable and thinking, what the fuck do I do? Well, you gotta remember that in the warp there are pockets of time staying absolutely still while everything around them ages rapidly. So it could be that Logar walked into a chapel for an hour to read and pray, and 10,000 years just flew by in an instant.
Yeah, because the warp does shenanigans with time. We're fully aware that the warp does shenanigans with time. Look at Horus on Malek. Walks in, walks out, looks visibly aged and pretty fucked up.
But
look at Black Legion.
But the thing is, the temple Logar was in was on the Wordbearer's new homeworld in iSpace. It's not quite the same as warp space. iSpace is still has some overlap with reality, and I doubt that one room in one building on one planet will have completely different rules of time and space distortion compared to the rest of the world. It would affect a much larger scale. I raised you
Kimura, which actually does.
Webway, pocket dimensions, plays by different rules again.
Yeah, but the way the Eye of Terror actually works, you have the outskirts, which can get and are very affected. This is where Cadia was. You have what Remleiz just mentioned. Then you have the Inner Eye. And then you go to the Veil. And then there's Beyond the Veil. And Beyond the Veil is where the Primarchs are and all the great game is played.
Apart from Logar.
Yeah, so a little bit of information about the lore there. My homeworld is actually in the 5th level, and I have a really nice home on the Paradise world of Ascension, and it is quite nice. I have a palace in the Forest of Agony. It's really nice.
That's a funny name for Magnus's Silver Tower.
I hate
Get
you.
in the bin. Actually, while we're speaking about the eye and how everything links together, what, in relation to what you just said, what is the Cicatrix Maledictum, and how does it because I think it links into the eye, like they're like connected in a geographical sense.
I'm pretty sure it's eye space.
Yeah, because it's traversable-ish.
Yeah, so I'd say it's eye space then.
I would say it needs to be explained more.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about things involving that period, can I just point out that Katachan fended off demonic invasion after the Cicatrix Maledictum opened without help?
Well, yeah, it's Katachan. What do you expect?
Yeah, I just find it funny that the demons poured out of everywhere and just invaded the entire galaxy. Like, Mordian was almost taken. Baal and this entire system got fucked for a second time.
Terra was assaulted by demons.
Yes,
yeah, Terra needed defending.
But none of these worlds were Space Australia.
Yeah, you just think about the demons like, oh my god, this massive rift has opened. We have got so much chance to go with everything up in real space. And they just land like, okay, this world looks fun. This has got so much stuff we can kill.
And half of us been eaten.
Yeah, and suddenly, like, you can just imagine like Nurgle demons just like appearing on Catachan. This garden is so much to corrupt, and it just massacres them in 3 seconds. And the Khorne demons come out, and they just run into a Catachan devil, which just grabs the bloodthirst, just like, no, fuck you, and just rips it in two. And it's just like, yeah, right, okay, this isn't gonna work.
The friggin' demonettes run into barking toads.
Boom. And then the ones that survive make it to the Catachan jungle fire. It's like, we deal with this shit every day.
Yeah, I love the Armageddon, like the Catachans and Armageddon is like, working with these Orcans is just paid leave. Just like, yeah, I love the Catachans. The Catachans are just like so characterful. They lose a lot. They actually lose, if you read them up, a hell of a lot. But God, they're fun.
I mean, what more can you want than an entire planet full of Rambos?
Including literal on-the-nose Rambo in the form of Slime Arbo.
Well, actually, now he's actually Dutch Schaefer now. From Predator.
Schaefer? Yeah. I was going to say, when you said Schaefer, I went to the Last Chances, and that made sense.
Not Colonel Schaefer from Last Chance, Dutch Schaefer from Predator. You know, Arnie's character.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Question. At the end of the Horus Heresy novel, Vengeful Spirit, Horus muses that with the knowledge he has been granted from the Chaos Gods, he could make Abaddon a Primarch of his own legion.
Yes. That makes absolute sense.
He's just lying to him.
Considering Abaddon, is supposed to be a clone.
Yeah. And Abaddon does take on a full strength Horus and kills him.
Yeah, and also I sort of think about the whole shenanigans with Horus being powered up. Because if you think about Horus, he was powered up to the Emperor's level, but then after Horus lost, sort of the next guy that the Chaos Gods went to was Luther, and they powered him up from Space Marine to Primarch level. So therefore, it stands to reason that if the Chaos Gods can go Primarch to Emperor, they can go Space Marine to Primarch, thus making Abaddon into a Primarch with the power Horus received. That just makes sense.
Although I still like that, and I keep bringing this up, but Black Legion, Abaddon is such a bro. Like, he's actually just a chill dude.
Yeah, it's actually really good. The fact that Black Library have been making a lot of the characters, because there's a lot of characters in 40k's lore who are, I'm going to go with divisive, but I'm also going to say not liked. And Abaddon was one of them. Like, a lot of people didn't like Abaddon, for one reason or another. But they've done a lot of work getting characters like Gilliman to be likable, as we talked about earlier in the show, to make Abaddon much more at least relatable and likable for a Chaos Space Marine. And the Primark novels have helped to do that, I'm sure, with getting the Primarks to be more relatable. You've just said about the Custodes, how they're shown to have a lot more humanity than perhaps people would have expected. They're doing a really good job of trying to make these characters relatable, as opposed to just being guys that you hate because reasons.
But the question is, can anyone make a novel where you end up liking Erebus or Corferon?
No.
No. They are... I'm trying to come up with a good analogy of to how I explain that you will never make them likable.
They're cunts.
Yes. Yeah.
I was trying to be a bit less blunt than that to come up with an actual real-world analogy, but yeah, that's fair.
Moving on to the next question, and from here on, I'm just going to try to grab good questions because we are at an hour and 30 minutes. All right. Question, preferably for Remleiz. Rest of you can go fuck yourself. That's what it says word for word.
No, it doesn't. I've read that question.
When it comes to the creation of the Astartes, who oversees the creation/transformation? Usually chapter masters and all of the apothecaries and everybody.
And librarians, I believe, are involved as well.
Yep, and chaplains, and everybody's in the room just going, yeah, don't fuck this up.
Now, what's interesting is in terms of recruitment and who oversees that, because that varies.
Yes.
So,
it's usually the master of recruit, which is the 4th company captain.
10th.
No, master of... Oh, wait, yeah. Master of... The 4th company captain is master of the fleet, I think.
But
Something like that.
For some chapters, it's actually the chaplains.
See, the Space Wolves.
No, Space Wolves is the room priest who are also...
I thought it was the Wolf Priest.
That's the room priest, isn't it? Oh, I could be wrong. It might be the wolf priest. I know the Raven Guard is the chaplains.
Yeah, I don't know why. I sort of feel like a wolf priest was who recruited Ragnar. I don't know why.
No, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, it is wolf priest. I'm confusing them with room priest. There's too many fucking priests in the fucking Space Wolves because you got wolf priest, room priest, iron priest.
Yeah, it's a bit...
I just kind of want to bring this up really quickly. So far, from everything that I've read about all of the chapters and everything, there is only one chapter that tests their gene seed prior to implantation, and that's the Dark Angels.
Well, they can only have the most... They can't really afford to waste it because... Well, actually, nobody can afford to waste it, but it's interesting that it's the Dark Angels because they're so secretive. They can only put it into people they trust. But how do you mean test it? Like, test it for purity?
They test it for purity. They also test it for who it comes from.
Which makes absolute sense.
In another book, it's after this great battle and everything, and the apothecary is going around to all of the traitors, jabbing him in the throat, and is like, all right, Logar, jab this guy. Horus, jab this guy.
That was in Pandorax, wasn't it?
Yep, and then they stab one guy, and they're like, Lion, take him.
That makes absolute sense, to be fair. That does.
We got Fallen here.
But nobody else does that, and people have battled alongside the Blood Ravens. So it's just like if the Dark Angels and the Blood Ravens run into somebody, they just stab them in the throat. And could you imagine the surprise on the Dark Angel's face if they stab a Blood Raven in the throat, and it's just like,
Fallen.
Magnus.
I think I'd be more surprised if they stood there. It's like, Lion is like, when the fuck were you related to us?
Well, I mean, in all fairness, if you go based on the more Native American side of the Dark Angels, a Raven does make sense.
Again, the Native American thing was from one specific recruiting world.
But they also kept it as a theme in the chapter.
Only because the actions of the Deathwing themselves.
No. I mean, all of their iconography is that of Native Americans.
All right,
and
yeah.
Christianic, but yeah.
I associate the medieval knights with the Dark Angels. They're who I think of first.
The Native American iconography is pretty much all exclusive to the Deathwing.
No, the Ravenwing also. And technically anything with wing in their name, but yeah.
I didn't really see it in the Ravenwing. They look more like winged hussars to me.
There's giant banners of wings with totems on them.
Again, it looked more like winged hussars to me.
Take it. There's so many inspirations behind every legion in chapter. I mean, the Ultramarines are most obviously ancient Rome, but it could also be Greece, and there'll be influences from other empires at that time, such as Alexander and Macedon, because, you know, empire builder, Gilliman, kind of his shtick. The Thousand Sons themselves, Egypt is dead obvious, but then you've got more that goes over the top of that. There are so many references with every legion.
I always find it funny that Thousand Sons, Egyptian, their enemies, Space Wolves, Vikings. Thousand Sons Primark is Odin.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on a fucking minute.
So here's a funny story for you that I kind of thought that this was really amusing. So when Magnus got his powers, he got it from Tzeentch, who removed his left eye, right?
Yeah.
That was for the flesh change specifically, but yes.
Okay. Could it be that that was the reason that he missed and destroyed his dad's project because he lacked depth perception? Tzeentch planned it out.
I thought it was because there was a fucking wall in the way and he couldn't get through.
Details. Anyway, all right, let's get back to this.
Open this bloody warrior.
Will we ever get a Codex Salamanders, Iron Warriors, or World Eaters? World Eaters, most certainly. Iron Warriors, no. Salamanders, no.
No for all three. Again.
No, we will get Codex World Eaters.
Because
we're going to be getting Codex Emperor's Children later this year. Source, it's pretty obvious. They were leading up to it.
Again, it's not obvious because, again, going back to, I say this pretty much every time, the Chaos Space Marine Codex mentions every legion except for Death Guard and Thousand Sons, who have got their own codices.
I can see both sides of the argument. Like, I can see them wanting to have parity and having all of the big four having a codex. At the same time, Remleiz makes a good point about what's in the Chaos Codex. So I would say that the 18-month plan that GW has to get their codices rostered done will not include the World Eaters and the Emperor's Children. That is not to say they won't get a codex. I'm just saying they won't get one yet. They'll be on the end of when everything else is done. They'll be the first new faction introduced, especially if, and I can only really go off one thing that my GW manager said, and I may have misunderstood him because he was speaking in French, about a Summer of Slanesh being why Fulgrim comes along and we get an Emperor's Children codex. That's the source I have. It's not much.
I can almost guarantee this because they're doing the Primarchs that they had in the original Rogue Trader game. The 4 Trader Primarchs.
You mean
those are the only Trader Primarchs that we're going to get, and we're going to be getting a codex for each one to represent each god individually. I can almost guarantee it. I will put money on it. Well, not money on it. I'll put my word on it right now that by the end of this year, we will have either rumors or we will have a codex for Emperor's Children and World Eaters.
Well, rumors aren't exactly good enough because anyone can make up rumors. Let's be honest. I mean, we've been waiting for the Codex Fallen or the Hunt for the Fallen campaign for God knows how long because of the rumors.
All right, let's go on to more questions. Any favorite homebrew chapters? Yes, Sons of Garrow.
Not really, personally.
No.
And they're like the Angry Marines, Reasonable Marines, Pretty Marines, and such like. No. You know, all of the chapters that 4chan really liked for like a month.
No.
Question for Alexis. Do you see any good Death Guard builds in competitive? Yes, I have.
Well, one of them came 5th in LVO.
It is a shit ton of Poxwalkers and a shit ton of Cultists, and that's really it, and Typhus. And the whole idea of the list is to make as many Poxwalkers as possible, hold your opponent back, and grab the objectives and sit and... Yeah. With the new Codex previews, Tau, Necron, Dukari, do you think the Xenos box game would be likely this year? No. Personally, I think Necrons versus Admech. No, it would be Space Marines versus something else, and I can see that later this year.
Yeah, like the only non-Imperial box game there could possibly be would be something involving the Ynnari. Well, I couldn't see them doing anyone else. It'd be like Ynnari Slanesh.
But isn't there also the rumour of the Battle for Mars box set, which is supposed to be Admech versus Necrons, which is supposedly what these new models are teased for?
I've not heard anything about that.
It would actually be kind of neat to see that. If you were an Inquisitor or a Rogue Trader, who would you want to be and who would you want in your retinue? You will actually see this on my Twitch channel if you... I'm just going to insert plugs. Queen's Court and my one-shots that I'm going to be doing on both YouTube and Twitter. I play Dark Heresy. It's really fun.
Yes, and Remleiz is literally Inquisitor, so question answered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though some sources say I'm appointed by the Emperor himself.
Ha! What characters would you want to cameo in 40k?
No one.
I'd like to see Venom come back. I thought that was pretty neat.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Venom symbiote is actually canonical in the Tau Empire right now.
I just want to see Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau make his triumphant return.
Dearie me, that's shocking.
He's a canon character.
What would happen if the Void Dragon breaks free? The Void Dragon shard, and this is just a shard of the Void Dragon, is on Mars.
Yes, and the answer is the same in any. And the answer is the same in any event. The shit hits the fan.
Considering that the Emperor couldn't destroy it.
To be fair, the last time a Catan got destroyed, it infected the Necrons with the Flayer virus, so you probably don't want to kill it.
I wonder if that's what happened with the Men of Iron. Anyway. Why is the Imperium not using Jakaro to fix the Golden Throne? Because they're dangerous monkeys. If they can make digit weapons out of garbage. Actually, Inquisitors tend to use Jakaro. And
the mechanics don't, actually.
No, because they're a Xenos race and they hate them.
Yeah, actually, there was a question. Didn't we get a question like the other time about like the Mechanicus and the Jakaro and just like stuff involving that? But yeah, the Mechanicus don't use them.
But you will see Jakaro working with Inquisitors, Rogue Traders all the time.
Yes.
But let's be honest, is anyone going to let a fucking alien monkey into the throne room? No.
Let's not talk about...
they're thinking about letting Dark Eldar in there.
Yeah, let's not talk about that Mechanicus Drakari deal.
Question for Remleiz. What exactly is a machine spirit? I actually know the answer to this.
Didn't we already answer this last time anyway?
Yeah, it's a piece of human brain that's wrapped up, and it's the last thing of the machine. It goes through a human thought before it actually activates and works.
Or in the case of the Anemsis, it's a full body linked up to several other brains in a big tank.
Yep. It's just human thought, and the power of the human spirit can actually become the machine spirit and take over the vehicle momentarily.
It is, in fact, the heart of the cards.
Ha! Question for Remleiz. As a tradition for Space Marines to... never mind.
I don't know what that is, so I can't answer.
No, don't worry about it. It's yeah. What is the process by which the thousand psychers are sacrificed each day? That's not really explained too much.
Well, didn't they just basically say in Master of Mankind, they get a whole bunch of stasis coffins with psychers in it and just plug them in, they're slowly drained.
Yeah. And
although, to be fair, they probably had to build many, 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 many more racks of stasis coffins, given that the Golden Throne needs more and more every day.
Yeah.
Do Necrons dream of millennia-old electric sheep? Ha, that's cute.
Oh, get out.
Isn't that a Blade Runner reference?
I think it is.
I'm not sure. I know of the reference, but I don't know what it's a reference to.
This guy has a really long question, but it boils down to this. Can the Chaos Gods actually enter real space? Yes.
No.
See Mala.
Malice did. But again, But again with Malice, it took a ritual that lasted 1100 years.
And Malice is not on... for all that Malice is, it's not on the same scale.
No, he's a minor god, so it won't take as long to summon him. So for Khorne, it'll probably take something like 8,000 centuries at minimum.
Maybe that's what the Great Game is.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Maybe the Great Game is actually trying to breach reality for themselves. I don't know. I've heard stupider ideas.
CCS goes.
May we have a book breakdown from Remleiz or Michael on Clone Lord? I'm actually going to be doing that on my channel.
I'm actually going to be doing something in regards to events in Clone Lord in a few weeks' time, as I actually have a video detailing about Trays in the Infinite. So that'll have a whole thing detailing a whole bunch of issues in Clone Lord.
Yeah. Also, keep a lookout. And you guys should actually watch the lore series on my channel. I watch your guys'. You should watch mine, jerks. Define Grim Dark. 80s Gothic punk death metal.
It's grim and it's dark.
Yeah, it's basically everything's gone to hell. That is the grimdark. Is everything is just gone to shit.
I don't see it that way. It's literally the 80s punk rock, death metal, and Gothic architecture thrown together.
The 80s stuff kind of got killed off with the advent of 2nd edition.
I'm sorry, the Necromunda gangs?
They're gangs.
Yeah, those are things in 40K straight out of the 80s.
And again, with the exception of the new Necromunda models, their last models came out around 2nd edition.
When they started taking the game more serious and it wasn't just a joke.
Necromunda's always been more light-hearted. All you got to do is just look at the Redeemer comic. Necromunda itself has always been a more light-hearted setting.
Yeah, 40K has its... I daren't say has its funny moments.
The orcs.
No, the funniest moment was in the end of Cult of the War Mason when you got a planetary governor going, oh, at least we can be safe that we're going to get some noble and proud space marines. What's the chapter? Oh, it's the Flesh Tearers.
Well, to be fair, though, in defense of the Flesh Tearers...
There is no defense of the Flesh Tearers. Their name is literally the Flesh Tearers.
How proud and noble.
I've read The Devastation of Baal. They are portrayed very well in that book. And if you want to see what happens when the Blood Angels go off the deep end, I give you the Knights of Blood. That is what happens when the Blood Angels go off the deep end. The Flesh Tearers
So carry on.
The Flesh Tearers, if they slip, yes, they are psychopathic killers. Yes, but the Knights of Blood willingly embrace the flaw. The Flesh Tearers, at least under Seth, do their best to keep it in check and would rather their legacy die with them than accept Primaris. There are no Primaris Flesh Tearers because Seth hates them because they don't carry the flaw. They are not truly Flesh Tearers because they don't know what the flaw is and how to carry it. It's the Flesh Tearers' burden to bear. The Knights of Blood were complete psychos.
Were the blood swords featured in Devastation of Baal?
A lot of chapters turned up. I mean,
because the only thing I really know and like about the blood swords chapter was the fact that their chapter master was a dreadnought.
I don't remember them being mentioned by name, but like every Blood Angel or Blood Angel successor that could turn up did turn up.
Yeah, because I know the Angel's Penitent turned up.
Yeah, I mean, even the Renegades turned up because the Knights of Blood turned up and they're Renegades. But yeah, basically, if they're a Blood Angel successor and they're not Chaos Marines, they turned up.
Speaking of the Angel's Penitent, we've got a video of them coming up in a couple of weeks as well. Shameless plug.
I still gotta finish getting through the Primark, so I'm gonna be posting Lehman Russ later today. Either today or tomorrow. This is we're filming on Friday.
Yeah, and I've had the Knights of Blood in my Renegade video that came out the Saturday, so that's how I know so much about them.
Mm-hmm. If you were to design a Fallen Sister Battle chapter, I think you mean order, for each of the 4 Chaos Gods, how would they look? Kind of exactly as the Chaos Demons look. Just with power armor on. Is there an anthem for the Imperial Guard, Still Hell March from Command and Conquer? Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, we all know it's Volostad from Final Liberation.
Yeah, that too.
Thank you.
How many Tau would it take to summon Captain Planet?
5, obviously.
One from each cast?
Yeah, exactly.
Question for Rem. With Morty and his Death Guard fighting Potarabo and his Iron Warriors in the Battle of Dysex. That's how you say that?
How's it spelled?
Dysactis.
Dysactis.
Yeah, something like that. Who do you think more damage in the long run was done to the Death Guard or Iron Warriors?
Basically, who won?
Well, who did more damage to each other? I'd probably say the Death Guard did more damage.
Yes, but at the same time, what's the Iron Warrior's strength? Taking that fucking damage, because they're sent for the worst fucking war zones ever, so they can deal with it. So, I'm going to go with the Iron Warriors here.
And to be fair, they are the two toughest, most punishment-taking factions of the Legiones Astartes. Like, the Death Guard were renowned for, particularly post-heresy, for just being able to take insane amounts of punishment. And pre-heresy, the Iron Warriors, well, we know what happened to them.
Iron within, iron without.
Iron shake it all about.
Iron hokey cokey, or something. I don't know.
And you rip your organs out.
And now we're moving on.
Plasma bionics, that's what it's all about.
That's the Iron Hands.
Alright, I'm sorry.
That's the wrong iron.
Can we get these episodes on an RSS feed?
A what?
Eventually.
RSS is a different way of people watching the podcast.
Yeah, eventually we plan to. And that is all the questions. So again, if you guys want to leave a question, or if I didn't get to your question, simply put question, then your question itself, and we will get to them in the next episode. We had a lot of new stuff to get through, so I didn't get to all the questions. So make sure to comment on, this will be on Remleiz's channel, and put the word question, and have at thee.
Yes, and the less memey your question is, particularly when it's not Alexis reading it, the more likely it is to get answered.
Hey, in all fairness, I skipped a lot of the meme questions.
Yes, because we did an hour of news.
Sure, that's true.
But yes, there's always the question box. I know some people have probably been asking the same question for a very long time, and we apologise for that. But that's just the way it goes, I suppose. One of those things. So as we come toward the end of the show, do we have any rants for the week, or have we already had them?
I think I pretty much had my rant for the week.
Not a rant per se. I did get some more books come through from Black Library, though my copy of Eye of Ezekiel was very badly damaged, but luckily Games Workshop, or Black Library rather, have been more than kind enough to send me a replacement.
Oh, that's awesome.
With next day delivery, so...
Yeah, that reminds me actually of when my Commander Farsight showed up without his head. And I emailed the GW staff, the GW office about it, and they're like, we literally don't have a spare to send you. It was literally the answer I got, we don't have a spare to send you.
Did they give you your money back?
No, I just stuck a new head on, and that's the Farsight I've used ever since.
Ah.
I'd be pissed.
I was like, well, to be honest, I was like, the Tau Battlefleet heads are not that different. Like, the only difference with Farsight is the fact it's got the lines engraved in it. That's literally it.
In all technicality, they're not heads, they're sensory probes.
What you could have just done, you could have just said, can you not just recast me a new one and send it out? You have the molds.
It's like, I sent an email, I was like, alright, fine, fair enough. I had a spare head that I was planning to use anyway, so it was no big deal. It was just something I remember happening. Like, oh, please, I couldn't think, I wasn't sure if it was they hadn't sent it, or I'd lost it, because I was in the middle of assembly when I realised, and I thought, hang on, if I cut this out and then just lost it under a table or something. So I didn't assume that it was my fault. I was like, I don't have it, I'm not sure if it's my fault, don't suppose you have a spare, because it could be your fault. It was more of how I phrased it, because I wasn't sure if I'd lost it, because I'm an idiot sometimes. That's the one perk about living in digs, actually. It's much easier to find components that you drop. It's less like go under something.
Which is fair enough. So, on that note, that wraps up this episode of Adeptus Podcastus. So, thank you for sticking it out with us this long.
This isn't even the longest episode. We haven't even hit 2 hours.
Shush you. The fact of the matter is we had a lot to get through today.
That's true. There was a lot of news, and as much as it was fun to discuss them all and go off on random tangents, there was only ever going to be so much time that we could get through everything.
Yep, true. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching.
Yes, next episode will be on Michael's channel, as per normal. So
yeah, that'll be no, I won't get 40. No, it'll be Sorry, can't maths. I thought it was going to be episode 40, but you're going to get it.
So there you go. Until next time, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This has been Tactica Imperialis.
And I'm Alexis. Love me.
And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.